Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing part 3 in our Christmas Folio series, and I just want to say thank you guys for all of your sweet comments that you have been leaving me. I love reading them and I appreciate it so much. It's nice to see that a lot of you guys want to create one, and even if you don't make one right now, you're kind of following along, which is fun. I knew that you guys were going to be all over the place with the lady of the house. So I had so many different opinions, and I knew it was going to be like that. But the lady in blue and the lady in pink were coming in hot. So I don't know if many of you guys liked my white lady, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to wait until the end. But yeah, you guys were going strong for pink and blue. I think pink might have got the most likes. She is pretty. I guess like it's just going to depend on all the ephemera that goes in. We'll see how it all looks. So really quickly, before I go any farther, I need to make a correction to one of the things that I told you. So today I want to go through and basically finish covering all the bases, and then we're going to assemble this part today and get it into the actual folio, so then we can be ready to start our decorating. But when I first told you to cut out your pieces, I told you to cut out the base, which would be like a little bit heavier of a piece of cardstock, and then 3 pieces from the file folder, but we actually need 4. So just add one more piece to your pieces. So we already covered the front of this one with this green wallpaper, and then we need 3 more besides the green one plus the base, so 5 altogether. So 5 pieces go in that section. So we're gonna work on that today. And yesterday I started to try to like film a little bit ahead of time, and my camera wasn't filming, so I did cover a couple pieces, which is like no big deal that you missed that because you really don't want to watch me glue it anyways. I covered this section with sheet music and a little piece of vintage ledger scrap, and then I covered the front cover with that book page that I showed you, and then I also put a little scrap of my vintage ledger, and then I just put my vintage ledger on the back. So if you don't have any vintage ledger that you want to use, you know, there's a million different printable options. Even in the Christmas kit, there is a script paper that's just plain in the, I believe it's the Christmas morning kit. So yeah, like just any of your scripty type papers if you want to follow along with what I did. So yeah, so the cover, and we're going to add more things to this. This is just basically getting the base constructed. So all I did for the cover was I just glued it on, and then I cut out that little section and just inked a little bit on the edge. So that's pretty much it. Whenever I was talking about Maria made a folio, she actually added pockets to the top and the bottom, but I decided not to do that on this one. But you certainly could. But like, I think what I'm gonna do instead is just use some paper clips and stuff. So we're just gonna, paper clips are gonna be our best friend in this project. So yeah. So let's see, what do we wanna do today? So today I wanna add some paper to this side. I wanna get that covered. And then we're gonna start on this. So for this side, I have this little scrap. This is actually a printable of mine. It's in the vintage script kit, and I tried to print it onto rice paper that's really, really thin. It's like this brownish rice paper, and my printer pretty much just ripped it up. I mean, it was not liking it. So I was only able to salvage this little piece of it, and it's so pretty. So I think I'm gonna add that up at the top because I really like that little bit of roses. And then I'm just going to use a little extra piece of that ledger that I have here. So that's what I'm going to put there. I'm just gonna go through all the papers with you, and then I'm gonna go glue them off camera, and I'll turn it back on, because I'm not gonna make you guys sit here and watch me glue all this. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is this middle part. So we already did this. On this paper, we're gonna add a couple belly bands. So let's talk about that real quick. One of the things we're gonna need in our next step, so not in this video, but probably the next one we'll start using them, is like some different trims and different things like my mom bought me this rickrack ribbon, I don't know, a couple years ago now, and I have no idea if they still sell it. I can't even remember where she got it. It was either Michael's or Joann's. So we're gonna be putting something like that across to make little belly bands on that. And then also I bought this like glittery ribbon at Michael's one year. That would be a really nice option. I have this like Merry Christmas ribbon. So this is the time to kind of get your ribbons together. If you have any Christmas ribbons, or if you go to the craft store, you know, they have a whole section of them. But in my original folio, I put this ribbon right on that edge there. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that for this one. Probably. We'll see whenever we get to that part. So yeah, so we're gonna be using, uh-oh, that's my little dog. Lola, shh, shh. We're filming, Lolas. Hey, shh. She sees somebody walking by. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, okay. So, oh, this is another one. I have this one. Some of these I've had for years, so I don't know, like, if you would be able to find the exact ones, but sometimes they have really pretty ribbons at the craft store whenever you go look at them. I can't even talk. This one is so cute. Like the little Christmas trees. My goodness, I can't even stand how cute that is. They're like little felt Christmas trees. So I found that at the craft store. Another thing that I bought the other day at the Family Dollar was these this ornament. They were each $1.25, plus I think they were on sale. And there's like a million little bells on here. So I was thinking I'm gonna take that apart and use the little bells, and we're gonna put them onto like little paper clips. So if you have any little jingle bells, the big ones, I don't know if I'm gonna use in this project, but I just wanted to show you because they're super cute. And they could be like, you could add a little bit of paint to make them rust, like aged, or even like rust them. So we have those. Another thing I have is like, I have some of these vintage trims. Where is that other one that I have? Oh, this one. This one is like my favorite thing in the world. So I bought this, I think, or my mom did, one of us did, at an antique store or show or something. And it's a vintage tinsel trim. And it is just so pretty. So I might use a little piece of this. I kind of hoard this and don't use it too much, but I think I'm going to use a piece of this on the cover. So if you don't, obviously a lot of you are not going to have vintage tinsel. So if you don't, sometimes they have like really pretty little tinsel ribbons at the craft store. So I was just showing you to kind of give you an idea. So I'm going to try to use some of these different trims and bits. They're all going to end up being like little belly bands and places to tuck all of our ephemera, cards, different things. Let's see. We talked about this. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this center section. So each section has a theme. So for the lady of the house, this is basically a folio about all of the hustle and bustle and the preparations that a lady has to get ready for the holidays. So on this first page spread, we're basically going to make a little journal here, and then we're going to turn the page to open it. This is going to be trimming the tree. So that's going to be the theme for that page. And I think I'm going to use these two papers to cover these up. This is in Stars Shining Bright, and then this is from the Peace on Earth kit. So I'm going to use those 2 papers on there. And then on the next one, Lola, shh, she keeps seeing dogs walking by. So on the next one, we have, I'm going to use this paper on this middle page. And then I'm going to use this green paper over here. And this page spread like is going to be devoted to gift giving. So like gift giving for Christmas. So we are going to use those. I'm going to use those ones. And then the third one is going to be like the family gathering. So like the Christmas dinner and things like that. So I have this menu printable in one of my other kits. It's in the 38 Rue Bourbon kit. And it is so pretty. I love it. So I'm going to use that menu on this page. And I'm going to use this red rose on this page. So the menu, the red rose, and was that everything? I also had this one, but yeah, that one's pretty too. It's like there's a couple different pieces of this in the Christmas morning kit. This red floral. So I don't know. Either one of those. If I use this one, I have to put something down there. If I use this one, I can cover it all up. So with the menu, I'm going to have to add like another paper down at the bottom. So that's going to be for the family gathering page. And then for the last one, this is going to be the St. Nicholas page. And obviously I know that the celebration of Christmas is about the birth of Jesus. We are going to add that little part in this front pocket. We're going to put like a little Jesus tag and like maybe a little nativity. Where is my little, yeah, I have a couple images that I cut out. Like I love this little image here. That is in, I forget which kit. It's one of this year's kits. It's either Peace on Earth or not. I'm sorry. It's either in Stars Shining Bright or Christmas Morning. So I'm thinking something like that. I like this, the message of Christmas. So we're going to make a tag for this front pocket that's going to be like kind of devoted to the birth of baby Jesus, which is what Christmas is all about. So I also have this little church, which I thought I might incorporate somewhere in here. So we have those going too. So back to the St. Nicholas page. So we got, this is the last like page spread. And I really want to use this red floral. This is one of my favorite images from the Stars Shining Bright kit. And this ledger has a really pretty red like lines on it. So I'm thinking that's going to be that page. This ledger was a gift from Angie. And so I turned it into a digital and added it to the Stars Shining Bright kit. So I love this ledger. It's so pretty. So yeah, so those are papers that I have picked out. Oh, real quick. So for the St. Nicholas is Coming to Town page, I have a page of all these Santas. I was kind of playing around in the Stars Shining Bright kit. And I mean, they are so sweet. And like little Jesus is on Santa's sleigh. And then Santa is like rocking baby Jesus. And baby Jesus is on his shoulder. And then this one is like a little angel bringing Santa inside. I mean, just the most sweetest. Like these are literally probably my favorite images in the kit. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of favorites, but I just love these. So these are definitely going on this page. I'm just not sure yet. I need to make them smaller because they're too big. So probably going to print them at like a 5x7 size and then make them into smaller cards or some type of little cards or something. So yeah, so that is the paper lineup. And I'm going to go ahead and go glue all of those together. And then I'll come back and turn the camera back on. Okay, so I'm getting my pages pretty much all covered now, and what I'm doing is I went around and inked all the edges really lightly, and now I'm just adding a little bit of gold to the edges with my paint pen, and it's just Craft Smart premium paint pen in gold, and I got this at Michael's. And basically you just push the tip down for the ink to come out, and then I just lightly run it along the side of my pages. And I do it kind of like messy. And you have to be careful because you could just take your time and go a little bit slow. But I, in particular, like to get a little bit of on the corners. And in my original video, in my original folio, I did some sewing around the edges of my pages, so you could do that too if you don't want to do the gold. But I just thought the gold maybe because I didn't do any sewing. So as you can see, I kind of messed up a little bit there, but it's all gonna blend whenever we get it together. So all the pages are glued and ready to go. And like I said, I inked the edges a little bit before I did the gold because if there was any white paper showing, I just wanted to get that like white off, but I don't really ink a whole lot. And that's the nice thing about using the file folders is because if there's any parts that show, it just kind of blends, which I love that. So this is our first page, and then this is gonna be our trimming the tree pages, and then this is going to be our gift giving pages, and then this is going to be the Christmas gathering pages, like Christmas dinner, family gathering, and then this is going to be St. Nicholas. So those are all of our pages, and then I didn't fully cover the back, I just, because we're going to glue that in. So that is everything, and I'm pretty happy with those, how that, and one thing about it is like each page can be kind of like a theme or like a color palette, you know, just kind of like you do in a journal. So that's what I was trying to pick pages and sort of think about the ephemera that I wanted to use for each one before I was gluing everything in. So okay, so what's next? The next thing is we need to bind this together, and then we're gonna glue it in. Oh, and I also added the paper over here. So let me just put my marker away and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so we are going to bind our pages together, and then we're going to glue it into the bottom. So what I do is just put 2 holes in with my crocodile, and then we're gonna punch holes in each one, and then we're just gonna add a little bit of jute. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball where the 2 holes would kind of line up, and just gonna mark it with my pencil. You could certainly measure. Let me see if my measurements are good. Actually, I should measure this for you guys, because, you know, I wouldn't be measuring if it wasn't for you. Okay, so 2.5, so maybe like 2 3/4 down. And then, oh, it's about exactly that on the way up too. I did pretty good. About 2 3/4 up and 2 3/4 down. So if you want a measurement, that's what it is. Okay, so then you just get your little hole punch and you just punch there. And just be really careful you don't get too close to the edge. So that is gonna be our first page. And then the way that we're gonna put the rest together is we're just going to line them up. and then just put a mark. Like that. And then just get your hole punch. And then go through and punch all of your pages like that. So then they'll get lined up like that. Just make sure that you're keeping everything in order. So I know that the crocodile would probably go through a couple of these at a time, but I just want to make sure that I do it the right way. You definitely want to make sure that you are lining your holes up like the correct direction, meaning like when you go to punch your holes, you want to make sure that you have them on the right side, because it's easy to get a little bit confused. Okay, holding my breath that I got everything right. Okay. And then we have this one, and then we have this one, and we have this one. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I did pretty good, So we got our holes lined up pretty good. And now what we need is some of this jute cord. You could use anything you like. You could use any type of ribbon, any type of anything really. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this, and even some sparkly something would be pretty. And then you're just going to give yourself a little bit of length on it, and then you can cut it down later. Okay, and then all we're going to do is just kind of tie them closed. And I'm just going to use a knot. You want to leave a little bit of space because we are going to be adding to these, and our pages are going to puff up. So you don't want to go like all the way. You don't want to do this. You don't want to tie it all the way closed. You want to give yourself nice amount of room, and then you can always come back in and go smaller at the end after everything is in. So that is what I recommend. Maybe this one I need to add a little bit more space just because I need to allow for all the stuff that's about to go in there. Okay, that's good. So depending upon how much we add, I might adjust those at the end. So then I'm just going to cut off. I'm not going to cut too short yet. We'll just see what we end up with. At the very end, I will fix those to be like how I want them. But I do like to just unravel the edge of those. But you could wait to do that step until, you know, like the very, very end. So the way that this is going to work is now, like, I went in and erased all my lines. So if you haven't done that, you know, maybe do that. But the two lines that you erased, the parts where you started your folds for your, for the sides, that is where you want to make sure you glue right in there. So we're just going to put some glue on the bottom, and then we're just going to press that in. making sure you stay within your folds. Whoops, I went outside of my fold there. Yeah, and make sure you glue this in nice and good, because that is really what's holding that in. So, and then maybe make sure that your little things are kind of even and off to the side a little bit, because the glue might get on the back of them. And just line yourself up, press down, making sure that you are in your fold. And then just use your fingers and press it into your folio, just like that. Make sure it's nice and adhered. And then we have our little journal part. Yeah, I can already tell that I might have to make those a little bit bigger. So that's good that we left a little bit on the edge. So yeah, so that is how we did that. And now we're all together. And then that is all gonna fold together like that. And you can see now we're starting to fill in our gussets that we have on the side. And eventually, once we add everything in, they're really gonna puff up, and that is gonna be like more pronounced. And then once we get closer to the end, I am gonna add a couple things along the side of this. Like I was thinking about using some, well, I have this sparkly tulle that my mom gave me. It is so pretty. It's kind of silvery, and I like the play. I really love mixing silver and gold. It's one of my favorite things. So I might add a layer of this to the side. And then I really like this, just this real sheer, is that it? Yeah, I think this is it. Just this real sheer white silky fabric. And I think I'm going to glue those to the actual spine, but I'm gonna wait until we get closer to the end. Another thing I might do is once I get to that part, I'm just going to show you now so you can start thinking about it for yours. You could use like fabric, you could use ribbon, sari silk. Sari silk would be a great choice. Anything. Like you could put, you know, washi tape along the side. You don't have to put anything along the side. I'm just giving you some ideas. What was I going to say? Oh, that tinsel that I showed you, when I can't find anything. Okay, yeah. This tinsel that I showed you earlier, I might put a little strip of this down the front, like along that fabric. So that's what I'm thinking for the cover, okay? Oh, and then, like I said before, we didn't add any pockets to the cover, but we're gonna probably clip, you know, maybe add some clips or some paper clips. And I have some little jingle bells here that are gold, and also those little silver ones that I bought on that ornament. So I was thinking that we would get our little, I have a bunch of like rusty paper clips in here. So I was thinking about adding some little jingle bells to the paper clips and then using them to clip lots of different things within the folio. So that's all to come, and just wanted to talk a little bit about it so that you can think about what you might like to add. Another part that I want to do is in the original one, I had some goldish colored tulle that I just ran along there. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that, like something like that, just to, it might be hard for you to see on the camera, but it just gives a little bit of interest. This might be a little bit thin for me. I might choose something a little different. I have this gold polka dot. I don't know if I want to add polka dots, but like that could be pretty. I don't know, something that polka dotted Swiss fabric that I use a lot, that would be really good choice for there. But just something really sheer to kind of just let the file folder show through, but yet cover it a little bit. So yeah, so that's the plan, and we are getting there. So the next time I come back, we are gonna start with our decorating. We're gonna add some of little belly bands and get ready to add all the ephemera that's gonna go on the inside. And then one of the parts for this page here, this is gonna be trimming the tree. For this part, I'm gonna have a whole separate video on creating some fun ornaments. So yeah, so that's the plan. And I think there's probably gonna be about at least 2 more parts, probably 3. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.